Hello, everyone. Again, welcome. I think everyone is here right now. It's great. You know, as a little side note for me, since the beginning, I've been very excited by your professionalism. Um, you come on time, and everybody comes. I mean, it's a great cohort. Every time, you know, I always wonder, you know, how is the cohort going to be? I feel a lot of respect within the every individual and a lot of participation. I think that's like I know there's not a lot of videos, but for my practice, that's more than I'm used to. So it's very refreshing to see that you are more engaged than any of the other cohorts. I wish you were more engaged, even more with the video, because it makes a big difference. That way I get to know you better. It's just more human to be able to see each other. It makes a difference, but I thank everyone for putting their video on and for interrupting me anytime I make a mistake. So thank you for letting me know.
No problem. And to be fair, I would have my video on, but for some reason I haven't updated my Zoom and it's not working. But again, apologies.
Oh, I see you. Yeah, normally if there's no pictures, there's almost no name. So you're like the worst tonight, Rod.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
but I know you would. So thank you for still being actively participating. I appreciate that. So this is great. The performance on Saturday was really good. You performed very well for the marketing test. Now, you know, I'm not going to repeat all I said, but it's this vision, but it needs to be a strategic vision, and you need to know when you talk tactics, you need to know when you talk strategies. I'd like to hear more about strategies than tactics. That way I feel that you are being productive, and you know that, you know, it's a higher level. It's a, you know, think of like, let's take Universal, for example, and imagine there are like 35 floors building in Universal. Where do they took most strategy, at the bottom floor or the top floor? Probably at the top floor. The top floor, the top executives, managers and vice presidents and all this. And it's all about strategy that they talk about. And as you go lower and lower in the floor, you get people that actually starting to do more and more physical labor. I mean, it absolutely becomes more and more tactical, even smaller than tactical actions, you know, immediate action, hourly actions. So I want you to see the whole spectrum of decision within a business and to think the big picture and give me the strategic perspective. And that's really where I would like you to be on Saturday and come up with some creativity and angles. Ideally, also, if you were to go back to see the other presentation, you know, maybe you didn't present Lodi, but hopefully you were curious enough that you went to look at the Lodi presentation. Maybe you didn't do Mattis and did the same thing, and the next one will be hardcore and so forth. So looking at this presentation will give you maybe an inspiration. You may not exactly understand why they're doing it and why do they go this angle, and it doesn't, it is true that the recommendation oftentimes from the Maya students, if a random person were to hear them, they would not understand why it doesn't seem to be so practical, day-to-day, obvious details, tactics. Is because they have to think of a realistic perspective for the client. So in the situation of Cade and Corbett, I'm quite amazed because I received his last song, which I have posted in Canvas. So if you go in Canvas, in the file, you can hear his song. So what, anyone has listened to the song? What do you think? No good? What is everyone's opinion?
I know some in our group really like it. I haven't listened to it yet though.
Okay.
But I know some of us have listened to it. They're just keeping their voices down right now.
Oh, okay. And I've listened to it. I think it is really good. This is my favorite client, I think, since the beginning. I think this guy is, I mean, maybe because it's also the type of music I like the best of all the clients. I suppose maybe there's a bias, you know, not too much in the other things that we had, but this one is really good. Loti was also very good. And there's some kind of overlaps between Lodi and him, not because they are both Filipino, but just They were both very kind. One thing that I really like about him, and that was also something voiced within the SWOT, is to me, he seems to be an intelligent person, very kind, very authentic, and he comes across that way. And when he performs, that comes across in his music. It comes across. I know that I don't want to be spilling too much of the information, but this seems to be coming across as well. That there's sort of a contrast between who he is and his music, and it's like, it seems very emotional, and the language, tough guy, all this and all that, and it doesn't equate too much to his look and to the videos and all this. So maybe that's something that can easily be fixed, and maybe that's very connected to something tactical, not so strategic at this point. But I think everyone is on the same page. Personally, I think his music is good. I think it would not take very much for this to be amazing. And one thing that I like about his music, and some people may think it's insulting to say that, but I think it has a commercial. It's very commercial in a way. Commercial in the sense that I think there are a lot of people that would like this. It's not niche. I mean, you're gonna see hardcore. Hardcore was extremely niche, and we had James. That was another one. It's really not for everybody. This is sort of very well done. It could be getting out there and be successful. One thing I'm pretty sure is if this was someone famous, already famous, that was singing what he's singing and doing what he's doing, people would think is great. But because unfortunately he's Caden Corbett and he's unknown, people are going to expect either to be told it's great by someone or find by themselves. But I don't think people are independently opinionated enough to say, oh, it's great, and want to take the lead. So he's going to have to break in to some extent. But anyway, it is pretty good. Anyone's opinion on this at this time that they would want to share their perception? No, okay. So go, make sure you go listen to it, and then you'll see how it fits with the rest. But I think it is looking good. Let me see. So today we're going to talk about segmentation, targeting, and positioning. So STP is very important. Has anyone heard about STP before? Yes.
I just read about it.
Oh, you just read about it?
Yeah, I thought that was the reading for this week.
Yes. Okay, good. So yeah, the reading for this week, STP. So let me go through it because I want to make a big point that this is extremely important. So just going back, following this is, I want to say opportunities are not what you are going to do. So that's good because I think everyone went away from that. They are not telling me the client should do X, Y, and Z and saying that's the opportunity. Opportunities are just facts, change in the environment. So make sure that you seem to not make that mistake. Do not make it on Saturday. Don't come up with a bunch of opportunities that are Caden should do this, Caden should do that, Caden should do X. No, there's no Caden in opportunity. It's just a fact. Opportunities to sell more chicken, that's not an opportunity because you're saying what we should be doing, what the business should be doing, what the client should be doing. So if you reverse engineer this, suddenly becomes the opportunity is that people want more organic chicken, or organic chicken sales have gone up by 20% in the past 12 months. Okay, so facts and facts and facts. That's all we want to hear. I want to hear a lot of facts and hopefully strategic facts on Saturday. What is the opportunity with CSUN? The opportunity with CSUN is the fact that the area where CSUN is extremely business-like. In fact, the valley, the San Fernando Valley, is the #1 small business creation area in the United States of America. It's kind of crazy. That's the largest concentration of small businesses. The people there are very industrious, very business-like, and so I suppose that's one of the reasons why the business school it does so well. It's the 5th largest in the United States of America, the Nazarian College of Business. I mean, there's what, 12,000 universities, and that's the 5th largest. I mean, that speaks a little bit for itself. Martha Stewart, what was the opportunity? The original opportunity. How did she start? She did cook. Yes?
Oh, her show?
She did a show, but before the show, she wrote cooking books. So she wrote cooking books, and then she went into the cooking show and so forth. But she started with the cooking books, and she realized that most of those books, if not all the books, were written by chefs speaking to consumers. And so the chef had a hard time putting themselves at the level of the consumer. So she said it should be a normal person, just another housewife, writing a cooking book for housewives. So it's housewife for housewives. When she said that, everybody told her, good luck, it's never going to work. And then she had the most sold book. Why did the housewife want to hear from another housewife? Because they were intimidated by chef telling them what to do. You know, it's like, oh, it's too much. A chef is telling you what to do, it's too much. Versus here, it was just an unknown housewife speaking to other housewives. Why did it work? Because housewives were looking for someone to tell them what to do. So that's an interesting thing. That's why social media works so much, because the influencers are essentially doing like social work. People are bored, people don't know, people are not confident, and they're looking for a nobody to tell them what to do, and they just take it and then they run with it. So Martha Stewart was an influencer, if you want, 50 years ago, and she influences people to do what they wanted to do. Housewife cared. Housewives were worried. Oh, my husband, he's not gonna love me if I don't cook well. But if I cook well, I'm gonna be a loved housewife, a loved mother. I'm saying, 56 years ago, there was this that was very stereotype type of pressure. So she succeeded. It would not work today, because today there's already too many books written by non-chefs that would be much more difficult to break in. But she was one of the first to do that. What about Callaway Golf? Anyone plays golf? Yes. Anyone remember how did they break in? The Callaway is originally it's a wine company, and this wine company became very successful, big success. And eventually the owner played a lot of golf. And as he went back to golf late in his life, he played golf terrible. And he played golf terrible, like every golfer, when you don't play golf very well, what would you blame? Not yourself. You blame your golf clubs. You blame the weather. You blame the ground. You blame everything. So he said, you know what? Instead of blaming the golf, I'm going to make better golf. And so what he did, he made golf easy by making golf clubs that were easy to use instead of difficult golf. Golf in the 80s was very elitist. So they made the golf clubs very hard. And that way you could see the difference between the good and the bad. And he had the idea, no, golf should be universal. Everybody should play golf. And it should be easy right away. So he made a range of golf club called the Big Bertha. And the Big Bertha from Callaway took over the world when it comes to drivers. Every driver sold was a Big Bertha. They were not cheap, but they were more sold. They were, I mean, you would eat a driver and it'd be a disaster. You eat a Big Bertha and right away it was good. And everybody said we are good. So you had this boost of confidence. That's a company that went from nothing to become one of the 3 most sold brand of golf in the 80s and 90s. And even today, the Big Bertha is still a very successful set of golf that you can buy. So what was the idea? The idea was to make an easier set of golf that even beginners would enjoy and get result right away. Golf, you don't get a result right away. Most people struggle for months and months. So with the Callaway, you were actually getting a result after 2 or 3 times. Not amazing, but something. And that was encouraging. So that's the idea. What is the opportunity? Is people don't want to learn golf and spend 2 days a week for 10 years. They want to get it going after just a few lessons. They don't want to wait that they're old and have arthritis to start enjoying golf. So that was the opportunity. What about Tom's shoes?
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I've been there. I've been at their headquarters,
Okay.
and I've been there a couple times because I had a client when I used to drive people, and they first thing I noticed, I feel like it's one of those places that their main mission is to make their employees happy, to make the customers happy. Because when you walk in there, it's one of those places where they have like it's set up for the employees to have fun. Like you walk in, there's like a ping pong table in like right when you walk in the front door, and it's just one of those places where they try to keep the employees happy, and then the hope is that that trickles down to the customers.
Yes, yes, that's right. So Tom's did this, but Tom's is sort of part of the trend, like Starbucks. Who said that who's the customer first is our employee, two is the customer. Because if you make good, happy employee, you make more satisfied customers, and that's very true. But the big idea behind Tom's was to sell a shoe and give away one shoe. So every time you would buy a shoe, there would be one shoe given to a poor person. That was the idea. A lot of time, unfortunately, people, that's why I'm telling you all this, is they confuse idea and opportunities. So what would be the opportunity behind that? Why would they do that? It's like, hey, I have a great idea. Someone buy a shoe, we give them a shoe. That's an idea. Should you go after a business that has an idea? No. Why should you care for a business? Because it has an opportunity. The idea is, it's nice. You need to have a quick idea to tell. When you're looking for investors, when you're an entrepreneur, so like the next class, you got to have ideas. But the entrepreneurs and the investors, they don't care for the idea. You need to have one, and it needs to be short. You can't have I have a great idea, and it takes 30 minutes to explain. That's bad. You need to take 15 seconds max, 7 seconds. Better. But you need to have the opportunity. People invest on opportunities. Real good investor invest in opportunities. So what's the opportunity for Tom's? Yes. Eddie.
Isn't the opportunity that people needed shoes?
What do you mean? Like poor people needed shoes?
Yeah, people who couldn't afford shoes needed shoes.
Well, it's kind of, that's the direction, but it doesn't go that direction. They didn't start a shoe business to help poor people because they have no shoes. That's not the opportunity. The opportunity is that people like to be part of a corporation that helps people. People like to help. So it's like, I want, to be honest, is it easy to help? It's not easy to help. You see, I have several friends, but I have one friend in particular. He's extremely wealthy, and he's really nice. Every time there's a big problem, he gives to charity. And when, for example, I remember when there was the war in Libya. So that was like 10, 15, 12 years ago, and Gaddafi was taken away. Libya fell apart, and people don't realize Libya is like 4 million inhabitants, probably one of the richest countries in the world. But they became extremely poor. The country turned into a disaster, and they were killing each other. And then he gave money to help the people that were injured and bombarded. But when I don't even want to tell you how much money he gave, because he's very wealthy. It's great to be able to give so much money, but he gave a lot of money. And in a few months after, there was news, journalists, TV, cable, that were complaining to the fact that he didn't help everybody. What? You only help 12,000 people? What's wrong with you? You only help 12,000 people, And so helping is not easy. Now I go back to my situation. It's like I have friends that have their house that got burned in the LA fires. And so we all try to pitch money to help them out. $5, $5,000. What do you give? It's very difficult to give because you don't already know what's going to happen. And if you give it to your friends, it's one thing. But if you give it to an organization and so forth, you never know what happens. I mean, you've all heard some horror story. When you give money, you don't know what happened. I mean, it was last week, Zelensky complaining that he got $75 billion when he was supposed to get $177 billion. And he says, where are the $102 billion that have disappeared? $102 billion. I mean, to me, that's a lot of money. $102 billion disappeared in thin air. So every time you give, it's very, very difficult. And so what I'm saying with this is people want to give. So if there's an organization that you sell one product and they give away one, it's not like they're saying 5% of the profit goes to cancer research. is they say one shoe goes to someone else. I mean, that's a real contribution. They don't do it anymore because obviously they sell too many shoes and that's not profitable anymore. So they do some other things. I'm not sure what they do. 12 years ago, I used to say in the class, how many people have Tom's shoe? And I had 10, 20% of the students that had Tom's shoes. Last time I did it was last Tuesday in another class. I had 150 people who is wearing Tom's shoe. I got 0, not one. So what I'm trying to say, businesses sometimes they change, but that was the idea. Buy a shoe, we'll give a shoe for you. The opportunity is people care to buy and spend money when they know it goes to a good cause and it doesn't look like it's dishonest. There was a lot of hands up. I'm sorry, I sort of kept on talking, but I wanted to finish. Oh yes, I think there was Chloe, maybe you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was trying, not even the question, I guess it was more of a comment about how like Tom's is interesting because their strategy, but also their like opportunity were kind of together in one, because their strategy was to have people like put money to give shoes to people that don't have shoes, but that's also like the opportunity was that people like to give and buy things that give things, right? So it's,
yeah, so yeah, that's very related.
yeah,
very
is
much,
it
yeah.
normally that way, or is it just kind of the situation?
No, it's a situation.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
persistent.
it's a situation because you see, Martha Stewart is people don't know what to do. Housewife are worried that their husband may be running the opposite direction and they're going to be cooking. So it's not, that's the idea and the opportunity. No, the idea is the cooking book and the opportunity is different. So it doesn't always relate. It relates in the situation of Tom's shoe, but there's another one. Is when you look at Tom's shoe, this time it's the fashion industry. The fashion industry is very nice in the sense that you have like a one fast pass ticket, because the fashion industry is all about new and better. When you launch something new, you have this one-time ticket at the same time is, oh, it's fashion. Ooh, it's something new. Gee, it's good just by de facto. But you cannot do it again. You only new one time.
Right.
And so the opportunity is new brands have a fast pass ticket the first time. You know, it's this one only moment that you can take advantage of. And so they were a new brand. Another thing that they did, the idea was that their design were very simple, no frills design. What's the opportunity is there's people looking for very basic designs, not complicated design. You know, like a little bit like the the Crocs. You know, the Crocs were very simple in design, and this Tom's came just after the Crocs, so that there was already a large number of people looking for simple design shoe, not too attractive design shoe, because the Toms are not too attractive. You know, they supposedly made on a basic material, basic sole, the earlier one. Then they became more complicated, and then they sort of lost their soul, lost their DNA. But originally they were very simple. Like they said that the design came from Patagonia, from looking at people that worked with animals and all this. So there was a story behind all of this. So that was the idea and the opportunities. People did care for those stories. The stories was resonating with people. So that's what's very important. And so I'm doing this because I want you to see that there's a difference between the idea and the opportunity. And the most important is the opportunity, because that's the opportunity that's going to support your idea. An idea is very esoteric. An idea is very individual. It's very personal. It's my idea. It's a good idea. It's only a good idea if someone cares. Who cares? The who cares is the opportunity. Why do they care? The opportunity, you see? So I think we did eBay in one of the class before, what I was saying, what's the idea? The idea is to sell used products, and the opportunity is, one, a lot of people have used product they want to sell. A lot of people go to swap meets. A lot of people look at the internet. You know, the internet is becoming more efficient. Back, you know, that was what, 95, I think they started. So they took advantage of the technological opportunity, the consumer behavior opportunity, the economic opportunity, with the idea of selling used products on the net. And eventually they evolved into many other things. like overseas with different eBay in different countries, and also selling new products, also financing. Also, you know, they've evolved in the sense that now, before you used to be paid by the person buying, and then eBay would get a commission. Now it's in fact eBay being paid, and then it's eBay paying you. A little bit like Shopify is that way. So it's the model. They have this model, so that way they can be sure to be paid and also manage the taxes and all these different things, and ensure the payments and the refunds, and ensure the validity of the products. There's many operation reason why they went this way, and also because they eventually connected with PayPal, and then eventually were associated with PayPal and became partners and so forth. So there's many reasons why they evolved that way, but it's always opportunity drives IDs, and it should not be the ID, the center, because IDs are not supported by anything. It's just in someone's head. And if it's in someone's head, it's therefore dangerous. But if it's in someone's head and then it's supported by a real existing opportunity, it's okay. That's the 101 of business, and that's the 101 of entrepreneurship. So in the next class, what is asked from you to understand, week 1, is what I'm discussing right now. So if you understood it tonight, you already set up for the next class. But eventually, that's my number 1 purpose in this class, is to make you understand this. That way you can move from a marketer to an entrepreneur, which is the next stage up. But you have to understand the perception of what it takes to be a marketer, that's for sure. So here I want to talk about, you know, there's several statements there. Which one is a business statement that talks about an opportunity? A, since the air is polluted, we should be making pollution masks. B, our pollution masks are rated the best protection against air pollution by the American Health Society. C, the air is increasingly getting polluted according to the American Health Society. D, we could partner with a popular brand of coffee filter to improve the quality of our pollution mask. And E, diversification could be implemented overseas where nature is clean of phosphate. Which one is an opportunity? And let me ask someone before we go anywhere. Let me ask, maybe, what about Omar? Can you hear me, Omar?
Hello. Yeah.
Yes, Omar. Which one do you think is an opportunity in those 5 choices?
So this is the only question I got wrong, actually. Could you repeat it, please?
Yeah, so A is, since the air is polluted, we should be making pollution masks. Could that be correct? Since the air is polluted, we should be making pollution masks. Opportunity are facts. Opportunity are not what you are going to do. Since the air is polluted, we should be making pollution masks. So that's
probably.
So that's telling you what you should do. So by definition, it's incorrect.
Okay.
Opportunity are not what you're going to do. Opportunity are just facts. So this one, since the air is polluted, we should be making masks. So not good.
Okay.
Our pollution masks are rated the best protection against air pollution by some organization. Is that
that's also a fact.
No, it's not. That's a strength. You know, we have a very highly rated masks. You know, we have a Grammy award singer. That's a strength. The air is increasingly getting polluted according to the American Health Society.
I wouldn't say so either.
Why? Am I saying what we're going to do? The air is increasingly getting polluted according to the American Health Society. That's the opportunity. This one is just a fact. Air is polluted, increasingly polluted. So imagine if you're selling masks and there's more and more viruses. Do you think you're going to be selling more masks? I mean, think about COVID. Yeah. Did they sell more masks during COVID or before COVID?
Yeah, during probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it is. A fact. The fact is more and more viruses people bought more masks. Okay, so it's like if I say, you know, there's going to be more and more viruses in the world and more COVID coming in the next 20 years. That's like a fact, according to the CDC. So that would be a fact, according to the CDC. Not true or not true, that's not, you know, what I'm talking about. Is that if we agree that the CDC is a like a valid information provider, and they say there's going to be 10 times more viruses than during the COVID, and you're in the mask business, are you thinking of that life is going to be good? Or are you thinking about, oh, I should stop selling masks? No, you're going to be selling more masks. So what I'm trying to say is that the fact is supporting, at least on paper, intellectually, you know, from an argument perspective, it is supporting your business position. So that's why when you speak to investors, they should not care of your ID. That should be secondary. What they should care is on the objective, valid argument, which is supporting the reason why your business should exist. Okay, I'm hoping this is starting to make sense to everyone. So now, if we agree on this, moving on, it's just something I want to stop because I want to see if anyone can come up with this very broad question. And the answer could be, there's a variety of answers, but it's just for the sake of discussion. So how companies can improve their product for maximum competitive advantage in the marketplace? So this is like, I'm just almost asking you these questions, and that I would ask to business students in general. I mean, you know, most of my students are business students, and I'm curious to know if they think they're going to be better businessmen if they get a business degree. Normally, you would think. And then I tell them, you're in this class, you're getting a master in business, a bachelor in business. At the end of the day, what makes business work? If there was one thing you could do to improve your business, your competitive advantage, what do you think is the number one thing that improves your business?
Is it research?
Research?
Mm-hmm.
Money.
So, okay, so these are two good answers. First, that's really good. So money, you know, so the reality is, if you and I tomorrow we say, you know what, let's, I mean, I'm working with a gentleman right now who is quite remarkable. And so we're writing a business plan, and I have a lot of respect. He's almost 80 years old, and he's traveled more than 10 times in Air Force One. I mean, pretty cool when you work with people with 5 different presidents. So he has a lot of experience. Like today he's in Hungary, tomorrow is somewhere else. And, you know, he's not scared. When he writes those business plans, he asks for a lot of money from the investors. If I say, oh, we need 5 million, he says, no, we need 25 million. If I say we need 25, he says, no, we need 400 million. It's only big numbers. I'm like, okay. So, because it takes money to make money. So that's a very good answer. It's one of the very good answers. The more money you have, the more opportunity you have, the more things you can do. I mean, if you are, I don't know, if you're Bill Gates, you can do anything you want, to be honest. You could become tomorrow the number one most famous rapper or the most famous actor, or you could do it. You could do anything, because with money, you could buy all the things needed to even pretend that you're good at anything. You know, you could be buying all.
I have dreams of where I win the lottery and use 1 million or 2 million of it to market as just a single song that I have that's really good that I haven't even released. And
Yeah.
I just think about it. The radio plays, buying this and sending it out. Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. And that's why I'm mentioning this gentleman, because with all the money that he's asking and the business plan that we're writing right now, we're probably gonna be successful just because we're putting so much resources and yes, so much connection more than I do, that we're gonna get so many connections and so many things that it's gonna work. So I just told you money, then connections. That's another one. It's very important. Having connection, extremely important. Like for example, last week I was trying to talk to a gentleman called Tony Parker. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Tony Parker is an NBA, he's retired now, basketball player. He won several times the best basketball player in the NBA. And for a specific reason, I needed to speak to Tony Parker. He was in the Spurs, a team called the Spurs anyway. And so I was trying to speak to him. And so I called someone that I know and I said, can you get me Tony Parker? He got me the email of Tony Parker in 20 minutes. And so I got Tony Parker's email in 20 minutes and I just emailed Tony Parker this morning for whatever I needed. And so connection is very helpful to be able to do things. So business, very, very important. So I'm glad you have a mind for business. Money is very important. Big connection makes a big difference. What else? Research. So Frida was saying research. It's true. I'm glad you said research because that's something I mentioned before. I don't know if because I was mentioning. Research is very important because you obviously we know we're talking about identifying the opportunity. So that's research. So research is a winner, and the other one are winners as well. But research, what's nice about it is it doesn't come to people as naturally as money and connections. That's the two. There's another one that you should have been saying first, being the Maya student that you are. There's one that should come from you, from more than anywhere else. Let's see if Kiara has it. What do you think?
I don't know if this is one you're thinking of, probably
Yeah.
not, but I was thinking about it. I just experience. I know that's important, especially
yeah. So experience, of course, experience is very important, and it's a supporting thing. But you should have said fame, celebrity, being famous. You know, I see it all the time. You know, I worked a lot in the spirit industry, and then you have this actor that knows nothing about spirit, and they come and then they endorse something, and then this thing becomes overnight multiplied by 20 sales, and a year after it's a blockbuster of sales, and the product is the same. And then as a producer, I know what's inside the product, and it's really not good. It's not bad, but it's really not as good as the fame that people give the product. Then they think it's just fantastic, and everybody raves about it, and everybody has listened to the commercial, and they all say the same thing that it says in the commercial, and people turn into just a herd, and they just follow, and they go bah, and they just repeat bah, bah, what they've heard. I've seen this all the time. So celebrities are really lucky. That really helps. So celebrity, money, connection. I mean, research, yeah, that would be helpful. Having experience makes a big difference for sure. What else do you think is the big thing that makes you successful in business? And that's another one that should come from the Maya that they always complain about, that they don't have. And if they had it, they'd be killing the world. Yes, Joshua.
I was thinking being unique, having something that makes you stand out.
Okay, so that's very true. So that's the other one. That's a fantastic one. And that's yeah. So extremely unique. And therefore, what you do is what the world has been waiting for. And you really fulfill a need better or in a way that never been done before. And suddenly you just organically explode because you just made it because of your uniqueness. It's very true. Fantastic catch. But there's another one. It's called distribution power. So distribution power, I don't know, who sells the most wine in America? Costco. Costco sells the most wine in America. Who sells the most toothpaste in America? Costco. Who sells the most soap in America? Costco. Who sells the most pedicure accessories in America? Costco. Who sells the most stick with a scratchy hand to scratch your back? Costco. Who sells the most Tampax in America? Costco. So, not to make it too repetitive, imagine your mother owns Costco. You know what I'm saying? You gold. You say, hey, mom, that's my pen. Can you put it for sale at Costco? Oh, yes, son. Honey, how many you have? I have 1 million. Boom, sold 2 seconds. Try to sell 1 million of those pens right now, starting tomorrow. You may sell 5 of them. But if you own distribution, you own it. If your mother is Amazon, your sister is Costco, and your grandma is Walmart, you're printing money. You don't have to be good. I mean, this pen is just a pen. You know, I take this pen and I crack the back and I have all of this distribution. I will sell millions of this. So I don't know why everybody almost disappeared from the video, but oh no, here you are. So what I'm trying to say is these are the reality of business. To succeed, you need these things, but what's the problem with most of these things? You know, having, like Rod said, having $1 million in the bank, your mom owns Costco, you came up with something that is unique, that never is done in the history of mankind. Only you have it, and it would be the best of the category overnight. What's the problem with all of that?
The problem with all of that is that
Yeah.
it stays where it is and it does not fucking move. Sorry for cussing.
It's not under your control.
Well, it's it's not in your control, and it's like most likely we can dream about it, but it's not going to happen. And if we keep dreaming of 1, the lottery, 2, having your mom own Costco, 3, being a celebrity, I forgot that one, and 4, having 1 million in the bank overnight, all of those things, I'm not saying there's 0 chance, but there's 0.00001, right, % chance. So therefore, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that therefore we're doomed. We may as well not get in business. We're screwed.
I mean, intragenerational wealth exists, and that is a part of capitalism, and that's okay. Like, you know, as long as I have the option to do that too, but I have to fight really, really hard and be good at it. Yes, and it's so that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. But then you go, man, I go to a business school to tell me that I'm screwed. I don't have the cash. I don't have my mother at Costco. I don't have the celebrity. I'm all that. So what's left? And so that's where now I'm going to rejoin Frida by saying, well, but you've got research. Oh. And when you have research, you have one thing that's really nice. Is you have this. And that's your only tool that you have, but only who you have it. Miguel has it. Christian has it. Chloe has it. We all have it. We may not all have $1 million in the bank, and our mother being the owner of Costco, but this one we do all have it. It's in our hands right now. That's the secret sauce. So what the heck is the secret sauce? The secret sauce is called STP. True. If you Google, I don't know, the secret sauce how to succeed in business, you may not find it. But once you understand what I've explained, you're going to go, that's right, that's the secret sauce. No, I know, he's right. And every success is explained by the STP, secret sauce. The secret sauce, besides, you know, having a unique product, that happens. All these things happen, right? But the secret sauce is when you look at the market and you say, you know what? We are not all the same. Yes, Gabriel.
No, actually, I went to the Valley Hive yesterday, I wanted to say, and this cinnamon infused honey, this is the secret sauce. I just wanted to let the class know that. This is the actual secret sauce. This is an amazing product.
Hey, do you see?
Valley Hive.
Valley Hive. So they are doing it, you see? They're doing it.
Extra credit, Gabe. Extra credit.
Extra credit to yeah. No, but that's a good one. I love it.
Carrot maxing.
What the hell did you just say, bro? Carrot, man? What is that? I don't know.
Obviously, you don't got the sauce, dog.
Man, I guess I know. Professor said I have the sauce, so I have the sauce. Okay.
But the Valley Hive are doing the infused flavors now, because I'm telling you, when we told them that, they say you're right. That's the, and so the Valley Hive was a success when we presented it because we got what Joshua was talking about, this unique product. Totally unique product, superior to existing product. It was not because the guy has $1 million in the bank, he's a famous celebrity, his mom is Costco and all that. He had none of that. But what he had is a unique product that he could have, and he could make it available. And I'm glad he did cinnamon. Cinnamon is a brilliant idea, because in the US, they love cinnamon. So doing a cinnamon infusion, it's so fantastic. The only problem with the cinnamon infusion is it may be a little bit seasonal. I don't know if people are going to go for that flavor in the summer, for example. I don't know. You do, but maybe, but. And so that he went where, but why is it that you're all not buying one right now, and he's not turning into Nestle? Why do you think he's not turning into Nestle?
Because y'all are suckers. No, because their model isn't scalable in that level.
No, because the problem is he doesn't, I don't think he's missing the communication. People don't know. You see, he got the information, you got it infused. He totally agreed. He totally sees the market. Then he made the product. He made the product really quick, because I think he made it within a few months. Right away, he told us that we did it. So I'm glad he's still doing it. But I don't think he's communicating about it well. And in fact, when I see the product that you show me, it doesn't look any unique and special. When you make a unique product, it has to look unique. What you just show me doesn't look unique. It just looks like another honey. And therefore, he's made the product, but he hasn't made it seen visually as a unique product. And he has not communicated about the uniqueness of the product to the right target. And that's the point I want to say. Is your power, your secret sauce to succeed in business is understanding STP. And what is STP? Is understanding that we're all different. We're all different people. And we are different, again, going back to consumer behavior, because we have different cultures, social, personal, psychological. But what is different about us is what you want to really identify. Here's an example for a toothpaste. So for a toothpaste, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 targets: the sensory segment, the sociables, the warriors, and the independent segment. So this group of people are 4 groups of people that want their toothpaste for different reasons. So what's interesting about this is, therefore, you have to say, who do I want to serve? So then you're saying, you know what? I want to serve the kid. So to serve the kid, I'm going to have a cartoon character on the toothpaste. Already done. Oh, I'm going to have chocolate flavor. Already done. But you're already going in the right direction. If you're trying to do chocolate flavor with a cartoon character and you're trying to sell that to grandpa, it won't work. That's for the kids. But then you say, what do I sell to grandpa? And to grandpa, then you have to think, should the toothpaste be the same? Maybe not. Maybe grandpa has arthritis. His fingers cannot get the paste out. Grandpa cannot get all the paste out. It has to be made that the paste comes exact amount all the time when grandpa wants it, and it doesn't hurt his fingers to press on the paste. So the secret sauce is, you can succeed in business if you understand the customer better than anyone else, and you can come up with a product that serves and satisfies on paper the customer better. But that's not enough, because then you have to execute. And the executing is the image, the communication, and that's why it is very difficult, because the communication these days is social media. And there's a lot of businesses that don't know what to do with social media. They don't have the stamina to post regularly, every day, create the content, post the content. And I see this with the Maya clients. The Maya clients are terrible. Remember Matters, you presented Matters. They wanted nothing to do with social media. How can you be successful in the music industry wanting to do no social media or very little social media, right? So yes, Chiara, you have a question.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this and also what you're just saying about social media. I mean, now we're going to a time we've been in it, like with AI, that you could basically, I mean, yeah, just get to a point where that is just going to be doing things for businesses. But I'm wondering
Yes.
where you think this skill of segmenting with the advent of AI, like where is there any like more room for it to grow? I guess is my question. Your professional opinion.
So yes, because of AI, you can have, you have to be very careful. And so with AI, you could faster and more and deeper reach more different groups. But the issue is when you make a product, do you have the resources to go after multiple groups of people? And so small businesses, oftentimes they have to differentiate themselves and go after a specific group of people. So AI will help you to go after this specific group. But AI is even more powerful if you are trying to reach multiple groups. So again, the people that will gain the most from AI are the big corporations. Little bit the same with social media, because social media, what do they have right now? Is they have fake accounts, so many fake accounts, so many staff that take care of fake accounts.
Oh, it makes finance a game too.
Sorry?
It makes finance a game as well.
What do you mean?
AI is going to be so much better at managing financial transactions than humans too. So another way that people who already have assets are going to win with AI.
For their financial transactions.
Yeah,
Yes,
for
yes.
anybody in the finance industry,
Yeah.
AI is going to make it trivial.
Yes, because they can monitor so many different things at the same time.
That's right.
And react much faster. Yeah.
Already reacting a hell of a lot faster. So
yeah, a lot faster. And so a lot of people are going to lose their job because they're going to be inferior to AI. But the one thing that you can do in AI is identify an opportunity for a business. But my point today, and we're almost finished, is that's what I want to bring, is identifying opportunities that are strategic and customer driven. The best opportunity is when you identify a specific customer and that they want something specific and you give it to them. And so this happens to me, for example, a lot these days. I love classic cars, and one of my favorite things to do is to work on classic cars. When I look at Instagram, all I get is those commercials that tells me about rust prevention, rust treatment, paint conservation, how to make your windows shinier, and all of this. That's already AI. They've already connected me, only giving me this information that I almost want to buy all of this stuff, because it's like, man, these are miracle products. I mean, you have rust, you just spray rust and the thing becomes just shiny. And so obviously there's a lot of fake and all that. You have to be very careful. I'm aware of this. But what I'm saying is being able to micro communicate with group of people by having this very, very precise, constant communication with them and knowing exactly, where they, what they want and what's the most accurate, and constantly, and that's why a lot of people complain about TikTok, that it's so powerful in learning who you are, learning your favorite things, and then providing you the favorite things. And then you get this very curated list of commercials and ads and all that. That's what I'm talking about. That's a huge power that is much more efficient than trying to succeed. Obviously, if you have a lot of money, it's easier. If you have a lot of connection, it's easier. But the most important thing is, are you making the right product for the right customers? And how much do you know these customers? And how much can you anticipate what they're going to want to know, hear, use tomorrow before anyone else, and then put yourself in front of their eyes? And so the Valley Hive, I don't think they have the marketing knowledge to realize that this product is great. Are they really doing the specific events where you get gourmet people that care about their health, the people that care about the artisanship of the product, the infusion methods that they use, some gourmet? Do they speak to chef? We were talking about chef earlier. Are they connected to special restaurants and chef where they're talking about their products and people are using them in their dishes or whatever, because they're saying it's honey, but it's a spicy honey because it has this and that. So it is very important to really understand what is your product and what does it do to who. And those who, what do they really want? And then when they see the product, it's almost like a mirror image. That product was meant for me. And then you cannot help to want the product. It becomes like a desire, a very strong desire. And so that's, I think, what's very important is to identify your target. So, you know, and I told you, you will see Caden Corbett doesn't know who is his target. And obviously we ask him, doesn't know who is his target. How can you be successful in business when you don't even know who you're making the music for, who they are and what do they want? You can't communicate to them. You're just blind. And so this, to finish, goes back to what Frida said. You need to do research. Research on what? Research on your target. Research on the opportunities that lies within the market, within the needs of your target. That's a very, very important research. Hopefully, that message, the last minute message I'm giving you, is the one that you're going to take away and probably understand that that's sort of what I want to hear from you on Saturday. Is whose target are you talking about? What do they want? And if you go back to the Valley Hive each year, you will recognize these. Meet Jennifer, meet Michael and his friends. And so that's what was very important, is these people is who were selling the infused honey. What do they want? What do they like? Right? And connecting the product with the persona is very important. So if you have personas and you're showing me that on Saturday and tell me that they are the target and what do they want, that's the opportunity. That would be awesome. Yes, Joshua.
I was just going to say, you were mentioning that you can't sell if you don't know who your market is. But I feel like there's a lot of musicians who become successful without necessarily marketing to a specific audience. It's more like an audience happens to like what they're doing, and then it works from there.
Well, I know that's the issue with the artists, is that there are a lot of artists. You see, I work a lot in the luxury industry. I don't know if you guys know, I've been doing this since 1993. And it's the industry I'm the most familiar with. The luxury industry is you're supposed to make luxury, not for a specific market. You're supposed to make it for the heart of luxury, for what's the most beautiful artist type of product. However, there is a company that became very successful in the past 50 years called LVMH. And LVMH is more successful than anyone else. He's what, the third richest man in the world? Because he's converted the luxury into a more marketed product where he's trying to identify what the customer wants. Then he gets designers. Designers are free to design, and they make the haute couture show. And within the haute couture, it's just a exercise, and it draws from the haute couture and then bring it to mainstream by doing mass luxury. And so in the music, it's the same. If you think that those people are extremely successful without noticing what the market wants, you may be wrong, because what happens is they are influenced by the moment. And in fact, them and the target is the same thing. They are their own target, and they succeed because at the time of the production of the music, what they wanted, what they were producing, there was a resonance outside. But that's why there's so many artists that fail, because they say, I'm going to do what I want and what I love. And then when they come out, nobody wants it because it doesn't resonate. But the minute you come out and you resonate, then you have this relationship. But then if they keep doing this, that's why you see those bands, suddenly they disappear. It doesn't work again as good as anymore. It's because they lost the connection with the world they were in, and they're not paying attention to the customers. So the best world, and that's the world that is very difficult in the music, is yes, you have to have your art and you have to have your own self, but at the same time, you need to constantly keep an eye on the market, and then you need to nurture these people by keeping that relationship going and not lose sight on that. Does that make sense? Joshua?
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I don't know.
So, yeah,
so you're right. That's a unique situation, though. It's like doesn't apply to everything.
Well, but again, you will see that there's a lot of bands that were extremely successful until they are not. And then if you try to analyze why they are not, it's because suddenly their target market changed and they didn't. And then that's when you realize that, geez, they were doing something that was resonating. But those people that love their music are old now and they don't like it as much anymore. The young people don't like it. So it was like a generational thing. And I mean, you know, there is quite a lot of them.
Yeah, I agree with that, but then also if you've looked at artists who like tried to change their sound to appeal to a newer audience, it usually hasn't worked. Like when the glam metal bands try to become grunge because glam metal was no longer in,
Yes.
like it didn't work. They weren't able to transition in like 99% of cases.
Yes. Also, the reason sometimes they don't transition is because then they lose the artistry. Then they become just a product.
Yeah, that's like, I think also it's like the audience is resistant to an existing, like they'll lose their original audience if they pivot too. So then it's like it's a
Well,
risk.
yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a risk. Yeah, it's a risk. But the idea behind this is, can you have music in different genre and still perform in those different genre of music and have different style of artistry?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some people, they're just so talented that they can work in different artistry.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Are there any industries that you can think of where these concepts don't always apply? Like they don't transfer the techniques you're talking about. Are there any industries that you've seen where it doesn't quite work?
No, I've not seen.
No.
Yeah. I've never seen one industry because it's still someone need that you're trying to satisfy. So the closer you understand their need, you know, it's like if I go to eat dinner at my mom's, I have two brothers, and it's just me. And my mom says, "Oh, only you is coming. I'm going to cook for you." I'm 100% sure to be satisfied, and my mom also 100% sure to be satisfied. But if I was to go tonight to your mom to eat, we don't know. So the closer, the more you know who you're serving, the more likely you will get satisfaction. And so that's why you have so many small businesses that do extremely well, and right away the big businesses are buying them. Because the bigger you become, the less you hear the market and understand the innovations that could be brought to the market. Because as you become big, you become very good at production and distribution, but you lose the touch of the simplicity of being in sync with the market. So that's what's very difficult, is to be small, meaning you're very close to your target and you're part of it, and you're like, it's like a connection, like a muse connection, almost like that movie. What's the name of that movie? I forgot. Where it's this movie where those guys, they have like a tail, and they attach the tail to the animal before they ride it.
Avatar.
Avatar, yeah. Yeah, and that's actually what they say in Avatar. It's kind of weird, but that's what I'm trying to explain to you right now. When they're teaching them to ride the animal, they say you don't ride the animal. This animal is not going to ride as well unless you're connected to the animal. You have to make that connection that you become one piece. And so they teach him to connect to the animal with his hair tail to the whatever thing of the animal. And once they're connected, then he flies amazing, and it's remarkable. And it's the same thing. Once you have a market, you have to sort of have your ears on the ground and hear the customers and connect with the customers and find what they want and constantly follow them and be step ahead. And so for example, I did this in the cognac and whiskey industry. And 2017, I was 25 top innovators in the world in that industry. And that's what I was doing. That was 10 years. After 10 years being in the industry, I won top innovators in the year. I was in totally different industry before, but it's the same method. It's listen to the customers and be ahead of the time and adapt and do it their ways, understanding their ways. But at the same time, it was a mixture of what I thought was right and at the same time what they wanted. And so that's what's very difficult with Cade and Corbett is you have to pretend you're Cade and Corbett, but at the same time, pretend that it's your business, pretend it's your music, pretend it's your market, and listen to the market, and then find this voice in the market, this target in the market that will be the vehicle that you're going to catch, that you're going to ride. And it's going to get you to a destination. And then another one that you're going to take to another destination. And sometimes you can't go to a big destination right away. You have to go from small steps to big steps. And so that's the path I'm trying to get from you is this vehicle, which one it is, which one is going to be disruptive for him. What does he need to do? Okay. So it is difficult. It's very conceptual. It's very abstract what we're talking about. But once you go into this hole, this rabbit hole, then you find those amazing gems, and then you see if these are opportunities, then you collect them, and then you start making your storyline of how you think this is going to connect. This becomes a puzzle that you build. All right. Do you have any other questions?
Nope.
No? Okay. So looking forward to see you on Saturday.